Hi, Samantha. Hello. Hi, Samantha. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Samantha Uncut, where I discuss celebrity news, hot topics, reality TV, and so much more. All commentary is alleged and in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Hey, everyone. I hope you all are having an amazing morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. I'm finally back with my review or recap for Housewives of Atlanta, episodes 3 to 6. I know this is super late, but I'm here and we're gonna get into it. But before we do, y'all know what to do. Don't forget to like, share, comment on this video, and make sure you follow me on my social media platforms on TikTok and on Instagram. All information will be listed in the description bar as usual. So let's get into this review of Sweet 16 episode 3 to 6. This is going to be a very condensed recap because honestly, these past episodes, they weren't really giving a lot. I feel like the most that we got from the 7 episodes so far that has aired was the event that happened with Kenya and Britt at her salon. But we're going to still get into the recap of 3 to 6 for this video. I will be posting another follow-up video of episode 7, and then we can move on from there. So first, we're going to start off with episode 3. And is it just me, or does Britt remind anyone of a vampire? I'm sorry, but when I look at Britt, I am reminded of a vampire that I saw in the Vampire Diaries. I don't know if it's just me, but y'all, she reminds me of a vampire. And it's not because I don't like Britt, it's just the fact that she reminds me of a vampire. So I just wanted to say that and get it out the way. There's a scene with Britt and her husband, Mike. And again, like I've said in the past 2 reviews that I've done on this show, Britt's husband, I'm sorry, he doesn't look like he's interested in her. He looks like he is interested in other things or other people. That's just my opinion. So Britt in-laws came over and they were having dinner, and at the table they were just having a conversation with her sister-in-law, and they were asking about when they're gonna have a baby, or they were asking about what's next, and Mike said, well, to have a baby. And then Britt says, well, she wants the ceremony first. But then I thought you got married already in COVID. So what is the issue of having a baby? Like, you already had your marriage. You guys are already married. So if it's just the ceremony that is stopping you guys, that seems a little bit trivial to me, that you would not want to have a baby with your husband because of a ceremony. But then in the previous episodes, the first 2 episodes, you were having a conversation with him about wanting a baby and you wanted a family. So what's the issue here? See, I'm telling you, y'all, this girl's a liar. And by now, I'm sure you guys have you're already realizing that this girl lies. So Britt and her sister-in-law ended up having a conversation about Britt's relationship with her biological sisters, because they're on the outs right now, because her father passed away, and since her father passed away, her and her sisters, they have not been in a good situation, and the sister-in-law is just basically telling her that Britt is always pushing family and she's all about family, so they need to get that relationship back on the road. I don't really care for Britt too much. I mean, by now you guys should know that I am Team Twirl, and I just really don't care for Britt. But I'm just entertaining her because of the show and the reviews, and she's a part of the cast, and that's about it. Then we have Portia meeting up with Kelly. Kelly had invited all the ladies to her Balmain event, and Kelly and Portia, they hash things out. They hash out their differences, because remember that Kelly had asked Portia why she stole Simon from Fallon at at Shamia's birthday party. So they had a little brunch or a little get together at a restaurant, and so they discussed that and hash out their differences, and they made up. And then we have Drew, Kenya, and Cynthia and Angela. They all met at the studio where Drew was recording her album with Dennis, and Dennis wasn't at this scene, but Angela talks to Drew about how she met Charles, and they're neighbors, so they live in the same building. Kenya asked about Dennis, like, where's Dennis, and that Drew was wrong for working with Dennis, and without telling Portia. And again, this whole Dennis Portia storyline, I'm kind of like not feeling it, because we want to know about Portia and Simon. We don't want to really hear about Drew working with Dennis and that being Portia's sole storyline. But in this scene, Kenya was actually letting Drew know that, it's kind of wrong for her to work with Dennis and not let Portia know what's going on. And Cynthia was saying the same thing, that at one point Kenya had asked her child's father, Leon, to play a part in Kenya's movie Life Twirls On, and Kenya reached out to her to ask for her permission before she hired Leon to do that. So they were just basically explaining to Drew how it looks bad that she's working with Dennis, and Portia feels some kind of way about it, and she didn't let Portia know. Portia said that, well, Drew is going to talk to Portia about it. She has reached out to Portia to have a one-on-one discussion, and basically Portia is, I guess, too busy to have that conversation with her. So again, Portia, in my opinion, is trying to drag this whole storyline out because she doesn't want to really talk about her situation with Simon. And then we have Shamia, who is discussing her issues with her sister. She's trying to have another baby, but in my opinion, I think that Shamia needs to take a break from trying to have a baby, because especially with everything that she has been through with trying to get pregnant, the IVF that she is doing is making her blood pressure go up and down, and she also experienced the ectopic pregnancy. I just feel like maybe her body is not responding to these treatments, and that she should kind of take a break. And I don't think that her husband would mind her taking a break from not putting her body through all that trauma to try to have another baby. I mean, like, I hope moving forward we will see a scene with her and her husband having that discussion, because I truly feel that, with everything that she's dealing with, her newborn daughter, well, she's not a newborn, but her youngest daughter, and then, trying to get pregnant again, I don't think that's something that Shamia should be doing. But again, that's just my opinion, and who am I to kind of like let a woman or regulate a woman on whether or not she wants to get pregnant or not. We also had a scene with Angela and Charles, and again, I will say this, Charles does not seem like he's interested in the show. He doesn't really care about filming. I mean, like, their scenes are very hard for me to watch because Charles is just not invested. He doesn't care. They were talking about the situation that happened in 2017 where Charles attended some basketball game and he got thrown out by security because apparently the owner for the center or for the venue had an issue with Charles. What was the issue that they had? And around this time, this was in 2017, and around this time they had just gotten married. Charles doesn't want to go to therapy, and obviously they had a pretty rough marriage, because in 2017 when they got married and that situation happened where Charles was thrown out of the venue at the basketball game, they ended up living separately. Like, too much. Ridiculous mess. And speaking of ridiculous and mess, we have Drew, who is meeting with her lawyer to discuss the divorce with Ralph. Ralph doesn't have a lawyer, at their last hearing. So the divorce is being dragged on. Who does this sound like, guys? Yes, you're right. Martell Holt. Yep, indeed. I mean, it's Ralph and Drew's divorce is absolutely ridiculous, and it's just so many similarities between them and what Melody and Martell went through. That is draining. Plus, the judge wants to unseal the documents. Drew obviously doesn't want her divorce to be unsealed for whatever reason, but obviously Ralph wants it. And again, it was the same thing that Martell wanted. But moving on, we had a scene with Portia and her mom, Miss Diane. They met for a massage, and Portia's mom is a part of the problem as to why Portia is the way she is, because I don't feel like Portia's mom holds her accountable for the F shit that Portia does. Like, it's like she is a part of it, and I get it. They're very close. They're best friends. But it's like, you got to hold your daughter accountable for the things that she's doing. So they're having a conversation, and Portia is letting her know that she feels alone in the divorce, and that Simon's side of family, they don't want nothing to do with the divorce. And she feels alone because Simon is not really communicating with her. And she thought that, she would be going through the divorce with him, like she was when her first divorce with Cordell, how it was the two of them going through the process together. But in this divorce, she feels like it's just her alone because Simon just wants to be negative, and he doesn't really want to communicate with her, and he's trying to go against her. And I'm just like, girl, what did you expect? What did you expect? You thought that you were getting a prize, and you thought that he's gonna make this whole thing easy for you? Like, come on now. Like, stop being silly. They also talk about how Shamia brought to Portia what Kelly said about her stealing Simon, and then Miss Diane is gonna say that Portia needs to watch the dog who brings a bone. And it's like, I don't feel like Shamia was trying to be malicious in her intent in bringing that information to Portia. I think she was just letting her know what was being said. But the way that Miss Diane is telling her, oh, she needs to watch out for this person who is bringing a bone. Like, girl, they've been friends since they were kids, or they're younger. I mean, here, this is what I'm talking about. She is not really looking at the situation from a logical perspective and trying to let her daughter know some sense and some logic. She's going to be, instead of her being a mom, she's being a best friend in that moment. Like, I'm over that. So everyone arrived to Kelly's Balmain event that she was hosting. It was kind of like a mommy and me event, and Drew ended up sharing a makeup artist with Portia, so Portia was a little bit late attending to the event. They were discussing, well, Cynthia asked Portia about how the divorce is going, and whenever anyone asks Portia about the divorce, it's very much like a short answer that is given. But anyways, Cynthia gives Portia some advice about dealing with the divorce with Simon. Everyone is having a good time. The ladies are shopping. Shamia and Angela got into it because, of course, Shamia felt some way when they were at the workout with Angela and Drew, when Angela basically told Shamia that, you know what, like, she's being Portia's lapdog. And so at this event now, Shamia and Angela got into it, and she's shading Shamia's nose. Angela is shading her by calling her Flavor Flav. And it was just like, girls, grow up. Like, this is not the place or time to be having this discussion or to be doing this, because this is actually an event with kids around. And I thought that this event was so nice and authentic, because it was an event for a charity that Kelly is donating to. So some of the proceeds from the sales are going to go to this charity. I forgot the medical term for the condition. However, Kelly's daughters, they have what is called brittle bones, and it's a genetic disease, and it affects their bones. And Kelly gave a beautiful speech about how she found out about her daughters having that genetic disease, and how, at first people thought that she was abusing or being her children because they had marks on them, but it was in fact it was the disease that was causing it. And so she talks about how near and dear that foundation is to her because of what she has to go through with her kids. And I thought that this was a really beautiful and authentic moment for her to connect with the audience about her storyline and her issues that she has to go through with as a mom, not only with her divorce but also as a mom. And it's a real issue that she's dealing with. It's not something that is just made up for a storyline. So I thought that this was a really beautiful moment. So kudos to Kelly on this. So then we also had Drew and Shamia, who hash out their differences. They made up, and then Drew decided, you know what? Okay, everyone is hashing out their differences. Everyone is getting along. I'm going to try to talk to Portia. So she goes over now to try to talk to Portia about this whole Dennis situation. And of course, Portia denied her access. And I'm telling you right now, I am literally so over this whole Portia being mad at Drew's situation. Like, it is so ridiculous. And then we have in episode 4, Portia meets with her team to discuss her brand and how they're moving forward. She wants to rebrand Pampered by Portia. You have Angela and Britt meeting at a park to discuss, how Britt is feeling about the whole situation with everyone, and her feeling like Kenya is shading her about her ring. Girl, I've only seen Kenya be nice to this girl, but she feels like Kenya is shading her, being snooty with her, but she is willing to try with Kenya, she says. But throughout the episodes that we've seen so far, Kenya has only been nice to this girl. There is no shading that has happened. And while Portia is in her meeting with her team, she also finds out that Drew had reached out to one of her team members about for him to look at some music with her and Dennis. And okay, at this moment, I kind of get it, because it's like, okay, Drew, you already know that Portia has an issue with you working with Dennis. Now you're reaching out to members of her team to work with them on collaborating with you and Dennis. It's like, girl, now you're pushing it. So in this moment, I can understand where Portia can be upset with Drew, because now she is pushing it, because I already have an issue with you, and now you're reaching out to the other members of my team to work with them. Like, come on, we're already sharing a makeup artist. Like, what more do you want? And then on top of that, Drew and Ralph, because literally every time I see Ralph, I see Martel, like literally, because his behavior and the things that he's doing and saying is just reminiscent of Martel. So Drew and Ralph, they having a discussion about the divorce and how Drew doesn't want to discuss the divorce with the kids. And I'm just like, Girl, if you don't tell your kids that you're getting a divorce from this man before they learn about it from their friends or from the blogs or wherever, from online, like, stop being immature. I feel like both her and Ralph, they're very immature, and it's like, God, can we get a new cast, please? New, or can we just get the old people back? Because I'm really over this foolishness. Not only that, I can't wrap my head around this whole one parent have to leave every first, third, and fifth weekend. And my thing is, where does Ralph go when it's his time to leave the house? And why can't he stay there? Why does he have to live in the basement? If he can leave the house for those weekends so that Drew can have her time, he can definitely leave and find a place to live. He doesn't have to live in the basement, because if the divorce is so contentious, then why would a judge make two individuals who are so contentious towards each other live in the same house? That is not healthy for the children. That is not in the best interest of the children. I don't know. This whole thing just seems weird to me. But on a more positive note, we have a scene with Kelly and Kenya. And this scene, I'm really feeling Kelly. She is growing on me. She met with Kenya at the salon, and Kenya was showing her around the salon, and Kelly reveals that, Kenya is doing something great, and they discussed their lives. Kelly revealed that she was threatened by her ex-husband, how he threatened to unalive her in court, and so he was arrested. Child, that was just a mess. Kenya revealed to her that, she spent $400K on the spa or the salon, and she needs for the salon to work out, because right now it seems like it's just not working out. And Kenya even got emotional, and she's saying that she spent Brooklyn's college money on the salon, and Kelly gave her some words of encouragement and cheer her up. I really appreciate this moment between Kelly and Kenya, because Kenya is seen as such a villain of the show, and her emotions or her feelings are not really considered sometimes, and because of the way she is portrayed on the show and because of her villain era. But Kenya is really a soft, emotional person, especially when it comes to things that she cares about and people that she loves. She's very emotional. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen this over the course of her being on the show for all these years. You can tell that she has a soft side to her, but people don't really get to see that side of her because it's overshadowed by her being a villain. And Kenya being a villain is a role that she plays very well, because in episode 4, when they attended Angela's bank dinner, so Angela threw together this dinner where she wanted to celebrate everyone, and everyone was supposed to arrive in all black. The invitation actually says black attire, like black chic attire. Everyone came dressed in all black, looking fabulous, except for Kenya. Kenya walked in wearing a green, almost turquoise Versace dress. She looked amazing. And even for her age, Kenya looks stunning. Like, there is no denying Kenya's beauty and just her as a woman. Like, she is stunning, beautiful. So she walks in and she gives everyone a hug or a kiss. She gives Drew an air kiss and hugs, and she walks around hugged. Let me say this. She hugged Britt and pat her, and Britt had an issue with that. She then said, "Oh, that wasn't a hug, Kenya, that was a pat." And here she go trying to have another issue with Kenya. So Kenya is like, "Girl, of course that's a hug. Like, I don't want to like get makeup on me, because obviously she's wearing a green dress. So like makeup is going to show. Either way, she hugged Britt, but Britt wanted to have an issue with Kenya. Everyone is just arriving. Everyone is trying to have a good time. Shamia arrived, and she arrived with an olive branch for Angela. So they made up at the dinner and they apologized to each other. Kelly had an issue with Drew not buying anything at the Balmain event, and then Drew said that she did, showed receipt that she did, and then Kelly brought up the whole conversation about Dennis texting Drew, and I was just like, okay, no, we're not gonna do that at this dinner. Like, let's just nip it in the butt. And all of that is going on, and Portia then brings up, oh, she heard something about Charles, and it's like she doesn't want to comment on what she heard about Charles, and it's like, girl, why are you bringing this up? Portia is getting on my nerves because she wants to talk about everyone else except for what's going on with her, and I don't think that is fair. I'm sorry, but the return of Portia is not giving. It is not giving at all. And I'm going to continue to say that until I feel like Portia is giving something for us to be like, okay, yes, I can see why Andy brought her back or the network brought her back. Because even at this dinner, Shamia played her song, Never Had, for the group because she wanted the group's opinion on it. And in this moment, Portia says to Shamia that it's not her singing and that it's Drew singing, and that's Drew's song. And everyone is hyping Shamia up and letting her know that the song is beautiful. They love it, except for Portia. And I'm just like, what kind of friend would do that to another friend? And you know how much this song means to her, or her singing and her music means to her. So why would you even like be that mean towards her? And in her confessional, she's saying that she thought the song was Drew's because the song is so good. So are you saying that Shamia can't sing, or Shamia's songs are not good, so you would attribute her song to another artist? Like, Portia is a mean girl. The same way people think that Kenya is a mean girl, Portia is a mean girl. And if people start paying attention to what Portia is doing, they'll see that she's not a nice person. And it's very disturbing to see how she is treating Shamia like Shamia is beneath her. Like, it's not cool to watch. But the part of this dinner that I really want to get into is the moment between Kenya and Britt, when Britt was going around asking the questions. So they wrote like questions on a piece of paper, and they were asking the table, and people were answering them. So one of the questions that was written down, that Angela actually wrote down, was that if Kenya can speak to Britt nicely. So Kenya answered the question saying, yes, of course, I can speak to anyone like nicely. Like I talk to everyone nicely. And so Britt wants to make sure that the focus is on her. So she says, we're not talking about everyone. We're talking about me now. And so Kenya is like, what? Okay, you want to have a moment, so have your moment. Because it's like, what? Where is this coming from? So she is trying to get into an argument with Kenya, and Kenya is just like, peasants can't come for its queen. And she lost it at that point when Kenya says peasant can't come for its queen, because she started going off. Everyone is like, girl, calm down. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. But Britt was so offended that Kenya called her a peasant and didn't really acknowledge her, didn't really make her the focal point of the evening. And so everyone decides that, you know what, they're going to walk out, they're going to leave. And in this moment, and I want people to go back and watch this episode or this scene, because Britt says the comment about the pow pow twice. She said it outside, and she said it while they were inside when she was talking to Kelly. She said in that moment, before she called her husband, she says, I have my pistol with me. And Kelly says, we got Kenny, so we ain't gotta worry about all of that. She said it right at the door. And then when she went outside, she said the comment about, that's why I have pow pow and whips for bees like you. Brittany started this whole thing with Kenya, and people are not paying attention to that, but they want to go in on Kenya about her displaying explicit photos of Brit at her event and make her the villain. But Britt actually threatened Kenya twice. She threatened her inside and outside when she said to her, like, she looked at her and said, today is the day you gonna learn. If that is not a threat, first you mentioned that you still got your pistol with you. Then you're gonna say that you got pistol for and whips for bees like you. And then you looked at her and said, today is the day you gonna learn. Is that not a threat? Is that not a threat? Because people are trying to make it seem like she was not threatened. I want everyone to really go back and watch what happened in that scene, because I watched it over and over. I literally rewind, watched it over and over to hear exactly what was said and what happened in that scene. And for people to pretend like Brit is this innocent victim, I'm sorry. Yes, what Kenya did was wrong. We're going to talk about, because that is episode 5. What she did was wrong, but what Brit did by threatening her, 2 wrongs don't make her right. But I'm sorry, you cannot threaten someone and then expect them to not react to that, and you can't tell them how to react to that. So now in episode 5, you have Angela, Shamia, and Britt meeting at Shamia's house, because Shamia is just like, what happened? Why did you go off? Like, people are pretending like they don't know what happened. And Britt is saying that she acted a fool. You acted a fool, and now you're realizing that your job is in jeopardy, so you want to pretend like you are sorry for what you said, but you're actually not sorry for what you said. And she's trying to tell Shamia that she doesn't want Kenya to feel like she would ever try to harm her. And Shamia's like, well, you need to tell that to Kenya, because that she doesn't feel that you wouldn't harm her. And I wouldn't feel that someone wouldn't harm me when they look at me and say to me, directly to me, that today's the day I'm going to learn. What am I going to learn today? What? And while you have Shamia and Angela at Shamia's house with Britt, you have Portia and Kelly, who met up with Kenya at her salon, because Kenya wanted to check out some girls for her event, like some models. So she invited them over, and then they were talking about the comment that Britt made, and Kelly is saying that, oh, she didn't hear the comment. And I'm just like, Kelly, you heard the comment, because right after she said, I still got my pistol on me, you said, we ain't got to worry about that, because that's what we got Kenny here for. So we don't have to worry about all of that. Like, I feel like this whole Brit Kenya situation, this was their plot to kind of isolate Kenya and to get rid of Kenya off the show. And the whole thing blew out of proportion, because they were trying to say that they didn't hear that Brit made the pistol comment, but actually later on, Britt met up with Portia, where she confirmed that she made the comment. And then everybody is like, what? Everybody's trying to make it seem like this did not happen, when you have the person who actually made the comment saying, yeah, it did happen. I said it. I was wrong to say it. But she is not saying it in a manner that you feel like it's remorseful. She's saying it in the manner because she realizes that she went too far and her job is in jeopardy. And Kenya even clocked it too, because when Portia and Kelly is trying to tell her that, oh, they didn't hear it, they don't know what's going on, Kenya is like, yeah, I'm not with the BS. I'm not with the gaslighting, and I'm going to do a background check on her, because who says that to someone? Like, who threatens someone like that? And who is this person that y'all are having around the group that would threaten someone with whips and pistol? Like, no, that is not okay. And then people are pretending like it didn't happen when it actually did happen. So then we get to the event. So Kenya's spa opening event, everyone arrived. Everyone is looking beautiful. Even Miss Lawrence arrived, and she is giving Kenya her flowers and letting Kenya know how she has helped her in the industry. And everyone showed up. And I'm just so like mad at Kenya in this moment, because her event looked beautiful. The decor, the event that she had, the hair event that she had with the models, like everything looks so gorgeous. And I'm just so mad that in this moment Kenya had to overshadow the opening of her salon with the photos of Brit, because the ladies arrived. They're all letting Kenya know how proud they are of her. And then Brit arrived with flowers to say she's gonna say sorry. Obviously, Kenya ignored her, because this was this was a production design for her to go to Kenya and try to apologize, because everyone realized that her job was in jeopardy and Brit went far. And they knew that Kenya would come back and retaliate. We don't know how, but unfortunately, this was how Kenya decided to retaliate. And she got her PI people to investigate and found some information on Brit. And she posted that information on the poster board. Some of them were explicit photos. And unfortunately, that took over the whole event, and that is how Kenya ended up getting suspended from the show. And I also want to say that the photos that were displayed, some of them, they weren't shown on the screen, because Bravo said that due to the nature of the photos, they did not want to show all of them. But my thing is, if these photos were so bad and what Kenya did was so bad, then why air that episode? Why air that photo, like those photos? Why not scrap the whole thing? And this is why I believe that their intention was to get rid of Kenya, and this was their way of doing that. And again, I will say what Kenya did was wrong. What she did was wrong. I'm not condoning it at all. But at the same time, I understand where Kenya is coming from, because Kenya is an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius, and I don't bother anyone, right? There's a lot that I can take. I don't bother anyone. I'm easy to just forgive people and let everyone just get along. But when you push someone like an Aquarius to their limit, we're taking it to Hades. I'm sorry. Like, we are going to take it to Hades, because we're not thinking about nothing else other than I'm going to get you back. And sometimes that get back can get us both back, right? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm gonna bring both of us down, but you're gonna go down, because you're gonna feel what I feel all this time, that you're trying to push me. I'm ignoring you. I'm doing all of that. I'm being nice to you, but you keep testing me, and you can only take so much. And I'm telling you, when you mess with an Aquarius person and they decide that, all right, that's enough. Okay, cool. God help you. That's all I can say. God help. So after that event, because everyone was just disgusted at what happened, Brit had left the event early. or the room early before the photos were brought out, so she didn't get to see the photos. So the guests started leaving, and then the cast started leaving because they were just like, nope, that's low down. Everyone was just upset at Kenya for doing that at her event. And then Bravo said that they decided to cease filming with Kenya for this season. So in this scene or this episode, it seemed like Bravo had made the decision that, you know what, we're gonna let her cool. We're gonna suspend Kenya for now and let her cool off. So it's seeming like she will be back next season. I don't know how that's gonna go with everything else that has been happening since that episode aired, which we're gonna get into, because I do want to talk about Kenya's confessional and what she revealed in that confessional. So yeah. So after the whole salon opening saga, we have now episode 6 where Britt is with her husband and she is crying her little fake tears about what happened, and the articles that are being written about what Kenya did. And she is crying, saying that she paid money to have those photos scrubbed, and she did what she did as a teenager. And now I have to say that Britt is a liar, because 2 days prior to me making this video, I was able to find some of those photos online, and they're still online. I was able to see a video of Britt, not the explicit one, but there is a video of Britt online. I was able to see that video, and it's still online. So these photos that she's talking about are some of the photos that were on the poster board. They're still online. They're not scrubbed, because I went online and I did a search and I was able to find them. I was able to find those photos and more. And it's not like I'm trying to diminish her feelings or what she's going through, but don't lie, because the site that they're on, you have to be an adult to be on that site. So it's not like she's saying that the video that she did was with her as being a teenager, but who uploaded the video to the site? And you knew that video is out there, and if this was done when you were a teenager, why would you not say something? Because the person that uploaded it to that site, that would be illegal to do that, because you're underage. And if you are underage, what age were you? Because you could be 18 and you could be a teenager, and you could be 19 and you could be a teenager. So what was the age that you did this act with your ex-boyfriend, and they filmed you, and then that video ended up being on the website? So again, I didn't see that specific video of her with no peen in her mouth, none of that. I didn't see that. I saw a different video that was more, it was a raunchy video, but no, I did not see the one with the peen in the mouth. So let's make that clear. I've seen other photos of her on the website that is out there, that is still out there. And Britt, all in all, Britt is a liar, because she then wants to say that because of what Kenya did, she is being investigated. She's going to lose her license. She told Shamia that she lost her license, which we're going to get into, because that became a big thing too, because everyone is realizing that she's a liar. At her home, we had Kelly come over to try to cheer her up, and Kelly brought over the IV nurse who gave her some IV, because, you know, she said that she hasn't been sleeping and she's so tired and she's been stressed based on the whole thing with Kenya. Then her mom came about. Her mom came over, and she's talking to her mom about the whole situation, and she's crying as well. I'm sorry. Britt is a liar, and her husband knows she's a liar. Her mom knows she's a liar, because they're all in this scene looking at her crazy. Like, girl, are you being serious right now? That's the kind of look that they're giving her. Her mom even realized that she's looking at her crazy, and that, oh, there's cameras here. So her mom went over to try to hug her to make it seem like, oh, she's so sad, like, oh, my baby. And she's there trying to tell Britt about, oh, you're too classy to go as low as Kenya. Ma'am, you know who your daughter is. Let's not do that. Your daughter is too classy. That is laughable, ma'am. I'm telling you about these moms. Let me not talk about people's moms, so I'm gonna move on from them. So they all went over to Shamia's because they wanted to talk about how disappointed they all are in Kenya. Okay, we get it now. Everybody's disappointed in Kenya. Kenya is a bad guy. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Okay. So, Angela asks Portia in this moment about the Charles comment, and Portia says, oh, it was a joke. She didn't mean anything by it. Portia, please. You know it wasn't a joke. You know why you said what you said about Charles. And then Drew started talking about her preparing for her divorce with Ralph. And let me tell you, this divorce with Ralph and Drew is actually really ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm over it. And I would really wish for them to stop playing in our faces when it comes to their divorce, because it should not making sense. So, Angela then asked Portia about her divorce, and Portia says that Simon wants nothing to do with her because she even sent a text to Simon about, saying that Pilar misses him, or Pilar was asking for him, and Simon just read it. Well, yeah, of course he's just gonna read it. Portia, did you really think that he's gonna care about your daughter when he doesn't care about his own kids? Like, the delusion of Portia. I can't. It also serves you right, because why are you trying to use your child as a pawn to get to Simon so that you can awaken some emotion in him to make it for him to care about the divorce or to care about you? Portia is manipulative, and I can't deal with her. I'm not a Portia fan, as you guys can tell, because Portia does too much sometimes. She really does too much. And the whole her and Simon getting married situation, I was very turned off of her from then. So, yeah. And speaking of not caring about kids and using kids as pawn, we had this really beautiful moment with Kelly and her daughter Chloe, where they were talking about the divorce that Kelly's going through at this point. Chloe is saying that she doesn't want to get married because she doesn't want to potentially end up like Kelly. And this moment was very authentic. It was very real. I love seeing their interaction and how mature Chloe is, and how Kelly doesn't really shield her from the truth, because she's at an age where you have to kind of tell her the truth. That she's mature in her thinking, she's mature in the way that she communicates. And I love the fact that Kelly is open with her and letting her know there are certain things going on, but at the same time, she doesn't tell her everything. But Chloe is at an age where she's able to put two and two together and say, this is what it is. And Chloe revealed that, she feels like her dad, or not her biological dad, but Kelly's ex-husband, that he doesn't really care about her because he doesn't talk to her, whereas he talks to the other two girls that are his biological children. And that made me kind of feel bad for Chloe, because no child should have to go through that, especially dealing with a step parent. I have a step parent, and I know what that feels like to not have your step parent care about you. So it really made me sad hearing her say that he doesn't care about her, but it was also a beautiful and vulnerable moment that we all needed to see on the show, especially when you have kids that are intertwined in the storyline. It was a beautiful moment, and Kelly just trying to reassure her that, I don't want you to look at my divorce and feel like this is going to happen to you. this may not be your path. So I love the conversation between Kelly and Chloe. We also had a scene where Shamia went to meet with RL. He's from Next, so he's helping her with her song. And Angela and Drew, they showed up to support her. And they were just discussing about how Portia kind of disrespected Shamia at the bank dinner when she played her song. And Shamia is just really now speaking about how she felt about Portia's reaction, and that, you know, she's hurt because Portia know how much the song means to her, and to say that it's not her or to discredit her, it hurt her feelings. But she is kind of like being a people pleaser and not making it a big deal. And I'm gonna need Shamia to stop that. Like, she's gonna have to start getting into her own and try and like fighting her own battles when it comes to Portia, because yeah, we get it. You're the breakout star. You have the money, you have all of this, but I'm going to need more from you, Shamia. And the more that I need you to start standing up and saying how you feel when it comes to Portia. Now, the part that I really want to get into when it came to episode 6 was the event that Kelly threw for Britt. So she threw a brunch because Britt was feeling bad. So she wanted to kind of, you know, throw her a brunch to cheer her up, and everyone came together to just see how Britt was doing. So while we're there at the event now, everyone is sitting down, just enjoying the moment. And Miss Britt, she is mad at everyone for reaching out to Kenya. And my thing is, like, girl, you are new to the group. These women have been friends with Kenya for a while. So if they reached out to Kenya to see how Kenya is doing, what's wrong with that? Brittany have an issue with her not being the center of attention. She wants to be the star of the show, and anything that has to do with Kenya, she doesn't want to hear about it. She doesn't want to address it. And so Angela is like, why are you getting upset? Because, you know, it's okay for us to hear what Kenya has to say. And she's like, she's saying to Angela that Angela needs to read the MF room, and she's gonna be losing her license. So Angela is like, how did you lose your license? Because she told Shamia that she lost her license. And so Britt is telling her, oh, are you slow? Like, you need to read the room. And Angela's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where is this energy coming from? I'm asking a simple question, and it is a valid, simple question, because you cannot lose your license for rumors. You cannot lose your license because they found out that you have some explicit photos online, because you got your license while those photos were online. And you can't remove anything that is online. As much as you try to scrub it, you can scrub as much as you want, but once it's online, my dear. So what is she talking about? So Angela is like, girl, you need to pipe down, because you are doing way too much. And in this moment, she is doing way too much, because everyone is asking a valid question. So Britt wants to be rah-rah with Angela, and Angela is like, you don't even take responsibility for what you have done, because you like to throw rocks and hide your hands. And Kenya is not here. And what's the reason that Kenya is not here? So Angela was like really clocking her, because everyone is realizing that Britt is a shit disturber. She's a liar, and she wants to be the top queen of the show. And I also forgot to mention that everyone was at this brunch except for Portia. And my thing is, Portia did not want to be in that vicinity or in that brunch area, because of the fact that she is still trying to play the field when it comes to her friendship with Kenya, and then she's trying to have this friendship with Britt. So she didn't want to really face the music, just like she didn't want to face the music with the group when she got married to Simon. So that's just my opinion on why Portia did not attend. But Portia said she was sick, so that's why she did not attend the brunch, because she called Kelly to let Kelly know that she was not attending the brunch. But in the midst of the back and forth with Britt and Angela, Kelly stepped in and asked Angela to switch seats so that they can cool down. So Angela obliged. She switched seats. Shamia now asked Britt the same question that Angela was asking her. How did she lose her license? So now Britt goes on to say that she is now under investigation due to Kenya's actions. Y'all, I am sick and tired of Britt and her lies. And I'm so glad that Angela clocked her, because she is a big liar. First, she told Shamia that she lost her license. Now she's saying that she's under investigation. Girl, which one is it? Did you lose the license, or are you under investigation? Because you are a liar. I don't like you. I can't stand you. And I wish this is your first and final season. You should have been suspended just the way that they suspended Kenya, because we could really do without you. Overall, these episodes weren't really giving much for me. And maybe that's why I haven't really had the energy to kind of recap everything, especially with some of the stuff that has been happening on social media. It's been really draining. And the most that has happened over these episodes was the Brit and Kenya situation. So I'm just like, I don't know. This season is not really off to a good start for me, and I'm just sick of Portia trying to use Drew as a storyline. There's a lot of back and forth on social media, and to be honest, the social media stuff is better than the show. I mean, we have Portia alleging that Ming Lee, who is Kenya's friend, that she gave the photos to Kenya, the photos of Britt to Kenya, and my question is, how would Kenya even know that this girl would be underage in those photos? Because those photos are on a site that you have to be over the age of 18 to be on. So I'm just like, what is happening? And then, like I said, I saw the photos on the website. I believe it was even yesterday that I saw the photos, April 21st, that I saw the photos, and I did a Google search. They're there. Like, come on now. Ming Lee has also responded to Britt Edie on social media, saying that she did not give anyone the photos because they're all online, which she is right. They are online. So you also have Britt lying on What Happens Live with Andy, where she's talking about she didn't have a pistol. She never had one. When you can go back to the scene where she said she has it on her. I'm not making it up. She said it in the scene because I rewatched it. And then you have the only people that are fooling with Britt now is basically Cynthia and Portia. And that should tell you something, because it's like, why are you guys the only two people that are fooling with Britt? And it seems like y'all are doing Bravo's little dirty work by trying to gang up on Kenya. That's just my opinion. I feel like they are trying to gang up on Kenya, and they want to make it seem like what Kenya did was so wrong, but what Britt did was so minimal. It's crazy. Kelly has also even confirmed that she has seen Britt with a pistol on her when she did her interview with the bro chat. So, I mean, everyone know that Britt is a liar. She is a liar. I can't stand her. She gotta go. We are really robbed of a really good season because of the foolishness that is going on. And it all started because Britt is a fan who was threatened by Kenya's stardom, I guess, or she is jealous of Kenya, and she then went on to threaten Kenya with a pistol, lied on social media and said that she never had a pistol, she never threatened anyone. and she didn't like the reaction of how Kenya retaliated against her, knowing that she had a past out there, that she has done some things that may come up. Like, this is why fans of certain shows should not be casted on the show, because this is the outcome. You rob the audience of a really good story and a really good season because of idiots like this. I'm sorry, Brit, you gotta go. But that's it. That's my take on episodes 3 to 6. I will be posting episode 7 review shortly, so tune in for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share, and I'll see you guys in my next video.